Hello again everybody and welcome back to my Diablo 3 channel on the Barbarian. Today I'm going to be walking you through how to pick active skills and passive skills for your character, assuming different roles. First off, I'd like to start with the PvE solo build for the Barbarian. I know this is very subjective because different people have different play styles, but everybody has their own preference, so it doesn't really matter what you take as long as you're comfortable with it and you experiment enough to see that what you're doing is optimal, or in your opinion optimal, because different people will have different skill builds, different people will have different gears, they might be playing in different difficulties, for example. So as it is, it's subjective, but no matter what it is that you're going to be doing, as long as you know what role you're going to be playing, you will understand that there are certain things that you will need, especially if you're playing solo in PvE. That means you'll be following the quest line and you'll most of the time be playing single player. You'll need to be able to clear out rooms by yourself, and you'll need to be able to take down bosses and unique enemies that are difficult on your own, minus your companion, of course, your follower. So you'll see in this skill tree, using the builder, the calculator, I picked up Frenzy as my Fury generator. It gives me 3 Fury per attack. It swings for 100% weapon damage, but each time it stacks, it gives me 15% attack speed up to 5 times, which gives me 75% attack speed. You'll see here I also chose the Crimson Runestone, which gives me a Frenzy effect, also increases your damage by 15%, which means if it stacks 5 times, it gives me damage up to 75% as well. Over here you'll see I picked up Warcry, which generates me 30 Fury, and it has a 30-second cooldown. Unleash a Rallying Cry to increase armor for you and all allies within 30 yards by 100% for 60 seconds. As a defensive cooldown, this is good, but on the other hand, I also added the Obsidian Runestone, which also gives me a 50% increase to resistances. So what this means is it doubles up my armor, as well as gives me resistance to all spell damage by up to 50%. You see here, instead of the Furious Leap or leaping attack, I picked up Furious Charge. What this does is it's a gap closer. It generates 15 Fury on a 10-second cooldown, rushes forward, knocking back enemies and inflicting 190% weapon damage to enemies along the path of the charge. I also took the Crimson Runestone here, which increases the damage it deals at the destination that you choose by 445% of your weapon damage. This is my only Fury cost ability, Fury dump you could say, where I enter a rage which increases my damage by 20% and critical hit chance to by 4% for 30 seconds. That means I'll be using it every 28-29 seconds just to make sure that it doesn't fall off. If you take the Crimson Runestone like I did, you'll increase the damage further from 20% to 40%. You'll see here I picked up for my AoE abilities, Overpower and Revenge. They work pretty well together, especially if you take the Alabaster Runestone for Revenge, simply because Revenge has a 15% chance to become active each time you're hit, which you can see will proc up to 220% weapon damage whenever you cast it, and heal yourself for 5% of your total HP for each enemy you hit. So if let's say you have 6 people around you, you will heal up to you'll have about a 90% chance of this proccing, and you will heal 6 times 5%, you will heal 30% of your total HP. In addition, whenever you use Revenge, your critical strike chance is increased by 21% for 10 seconds. Now the reason why I say Revenge and Overpower tie in together in this build is simply because it says here Overpower, deal 260% weapon damage to all targets within 9 yards. This is on a 15-second cooldown. If Overpower critical hits, the cooldown is automatically reset. And if you see here, when I took Crimson Runestone, whenever used, your chance to critical hit is increased by 16% for 4.5 seconds. So with just these two abilities, these skills alone, I'll have 21% here from Revenge, and I'll have 16% here from Killing Spree. So that's about 37% alone, not counting your gear. And if it crits, it resets and you can use it again. No Fury cost, no cooldown. this is pretty useful for clearing out rooms. And once you've done that, most likely there'll be one or two high HP mobs left, and you'll pretty much just clear those with Frenzy. Now another thing I'd like to cover is passive skills. Each passive skill you get at level 10, level 20 and level 30. You see here I chose Ruthless. Increases my critical hit chance by 5%, critical hit damage increased by 50%. What this does is each of my criticals, a normal critical, physical one at least, I'm not entirely sure on the spellcasting part, does about 100, it does exactly 150% of your total damage that it would usually do. So if, let's say, your Frenzy was supposed to hit for 50 damage, if you crit, you'll be dealing 75% damage. But if you have Ruthless, it increases it further by 50%, which means you'll be doing 200% damage, which means from 50 damage, it will crit for 100, which is pretty good. Here you see I picked up Berserker Rage to increase my damage by 20% while at maximum Fury, as my only rage Fury cost would be Battle Rage. Most of the time I'll have it up at 20% increase. And you see here I picked up Bloodthirst to gain 3% of all damage done as life. Now this may or may not be optimal, but it's like I said, very subjective. Some people, if you feel that you do better with another damaging ability, another damaging passive skill, you may want to go for that. But if Revenge isn't enough to keep your life at about 80% while you're fighting most of the mobs that you're fighting, you may want to pick it up. Otherwise, well, picking up another DPS skill, damage per second skill, would definitely clear rooms faster. Well, that's it for solo PvE on a Barbarian. Remember guys, this is all experimental. Who knows, most of the skills that they are providing to us now may not be available during launch, so we may have to switch things around. See you soon. Thank you.